Everyone talks about loyalty, everyone praises being strong, but no one talks about what happens when the strong one finally needs help and everyone disappears. This is not a story about weakness. This is a story about survival. He had always been the one people leaned on. From a young age, he learned how to carry weight that was never meant for him. Family problems, friends' fears, silent expectations, he held them all without complaint. When someone needed advice, he listened. When someone was breaking, he stayed. When someone felt lost, he became their direction. People called him dependable, reliable, strong. Those words followed him everywhere, like a label he never chose but learned to live up to. What no one asked was how heavy that label became over time. He believed something deeply. If you are there for people, they will be there for you. It felt logical, fair, human, so he gave his time freely. He answered late-night calls. He postponed his own plans. He ignored his own exhaustion. If someone needed support, he made space even when he had none left inside himself. He told himself it was temporary, but strength was rewarded. That loyalty came back around. It didn't. When life was calm, people loved him easily. They laughed together, shared dreams, spoke about future plans as if nothing could ever change. In those moments, he felt secure, seen, valued. But comfort is not loyalty. And peace does not test relationships. Pain does. The first crack appeared quietly. His work began to suffer. Not because he lacked skill, but because exhaustion finally caught up to him. The mental load he carried for others started weighing down his focus. Nights grew longer. Sleep became lighter. His thoughts never rested. He told himself to push through. Strong people don't complain. Then came doubt, the kind that whispers instead of shouts, the kind that asks questions late at night. What if I fail? What if I'm not enough? What if I can't hold everything together anymore? For the first time in years, he felt unsure. An uncertainty terrified him more than pain ever had. He didn't want sympathy. He didn't want solutions. He just wanted someone to sit beside him, the way he had sat beside others countless times before. So he reached out. At first, responses came softly. You'll be fine. Just stay positive. Everyone goes through this. Words without presence. Encouragement without effort. He noticed something unsettling. No. When asked how bad it really was, as days passed, responses slowed. Messages were read, but unanswered. Calls went to voicemail. Plans were postponed with vague excuses. I'll call you later. Let's talk soon. Things are busy right now. Busy. A word he had never used when others needed him. Weeks passed, then months, and slowly, painfully, the truth became impossible to ignore. People didn't leave all at once. They faded. They stepped back quietly, carefully, just enough to avoid guilt, just enough to protect their comfort. And when he needed them most, they were gone. He didn't explode with anger. He collapsed inward. He began replaying conversations, searching for mistakes, wondering if he had shared too much, if he had become a burden, if his pain made people uncomfortable. He asked himself questions no one should have to ask. Was I only valuable when I was strong? Was I only welcome when I had something to give? Loneliness settled into his chest like a permanent weight. There is a unique pain in realizing you were everyone's shelter but had nowhere to hide when the storm reached you. He felt invisible, not because no one knew him, but because no one wanted to see him like this. After broken, uncertain, human. At night, silence became loud. Memories surfaced without permission. Every late night he stayed awake for someone else. Every boundary he ignored to keep peace. Every time he chose others over himself. He remembered all of it. And now, when he finally needed help, there was no one left to call. For a long time, he blamed himself. Maybe I gave too much. Maybe I expected too much. Maybe this is what strength costs. He tried to stay busy, to avoid thinking, tried distractions, tried pretending everything was fine. But pain ignored always returns louder eventually. Exhaustion forced stillness. He stopped reaching out, not out of pride, but out of understanding. He realized something that changed everything. People didn't abandon him because he was weak. They left because he was no longer convenient. That realization hurt deeply, but it was also freeing. for the first time. He stopped chasing people who had already shown him who they were. He stopped explaining pain to those who had chosen silence. He began to sit with himself awkwardly at first. Then, honestly, healing didn't arrive as motivation. It arrived as truth. He admitted that he had confused loyalty with self-sacrifice, that he had believed being available meant being loved, that he had ignored warning signs because he wanted to believe people were better than they were. He wasn't foolish. He was hopeful, and hope, when misplaced, can be dangerous. Slowly, he began rebuilding, not by becoming colder, not by closing his heart, but by learning discernment. He learned that not everyone deserves access to you, that boundaries are not punishments, that saying no can be an act of self-respect. Some days were still hard. There were moments he missed people who left not because they were good for him, but because familiarity is comforting, even when it hurts. Loneliness whispered lies. Go back, lower your standards, accept less. But he didn't, because he remembered the nights he cried alone while others slept peacefully. Unaware of the weight he once carried for them, he grew quieter, not from sadness, but from clarity. He stopped over-explaining, stopped proving his worth, stopped begging for effort, and in that quiet, he felt something unfamiliar. Peace. Time passed, and with time came perspective. He realized that losing people had saved him from losing himself completely. That being left behind forced him to build strength that didn't depend on others' presence. He became his own support system. Not perfectly, not as Ailey, but honestly, one day he looked back, not with bitterness, not with resentment, but with understanding. They were never meant to stay. They were lessons, not lifelines. And some lessons hurt deeply before they heal. Now when someone new enters his life, he watches carefully, not with suspicion but with wisdom. He values consistency over words, effort over excuses, presence over promises. He no longer gives pieces of himself away freely. And that is not selfish. That is survival. He didn't become heartless. He became selective. He didn't stop caring. He learned how to care without losing himself. When people ask why he changed, why he's distant, why he doesn't give like before, he doesn't explain. He smiles quietly because the truth is simple. He learned the hard way. They left when he needed them most. And in that abandonment, he found something powerful himself sometimes. The people who leave your life are not losses. They are lessons that save you from a future where you would have disappeared completely. If this story felt personal, if you've ever been the strong one who was left alone in their weakest moment, you are not alone. Like this video to honor your resilience. Share it with someone who may need these words today. And subscribe to Heart Whisper Stories for more deep, emotional stories that remind you of your worth.